Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on this hands-on session on augmented reality Sparkia Studio. We have with us Mronank, who would be taking you through the whole process of creating your own unique AR effects. And please feel free to put your comments in the chat here. All your questions would be answered. So and he would be guiding you on every step. And we also request you to follow the steps that he's guiding you on and create your effects side by side, right? So without wasting much time, I'm going to hand over the whole stage to Mrunak. Right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Anamika ma'am, for the wonderful introduction. And I hope everyone enjoys today's session on building their AR effect and getting started with Spark AR. So, without any further ado, I will just quickly share my screen. So, today basically we are going to create an intermediate filter. So, we will quickly start with it. Before that, I will just quickly introduce myself. My name is Mrunang Pawar, and I'm the founder and leader at Hackle Tech Viewers. Also, I have been a Spark AR campus ambassador, and I have been creating AR effects for around 6 months now, and I have participated in various AR hackathons as well. Out of that, I have won one of the hackathon. So today we will be creating an AR effect where we will be using emitter or the sparkles particle system to create an amazing effect. And I request you all to like follow along. I will be providing you a few links as well. So first of all, I think everyone might have installed Spark AR Studio, and if you haven't installed it, then you can just go to the Spark AR download link and you can download the Spark AR Studio, which we need for creating the amazing air filters. Hi Tanuj, hi Kunal, hi Ayush. Let me know how many of you have already downloaded Spark AR Studio. Once everyone has the Spark AR Studio downloaded, then we can move ahead. So we will be in sync with the creation of the air filter. Then great. Great. So we will quickly start with the basics. So I will just give you an insight of the overview of how basically it will look like, how this Spark AR Studio looks. Yeah, cool. So this is the Spark AR Studio where we are going to work on creating the air filter. So on the left hand side, you can see the scene panel where we have a few elements right now. Like there are two lights, that is ambient light and directional light. So once you start the Spark AR Studio, you will get an option to create a new project. We are going to start from a blank project today. So once you click on create a blank project, you will be able to see this screen. right? So we have a few sections or panels on the screen. Like there is a scene panel where we are going to work with adding objects. As I mentioned, we are going to create a air effect which has particle system included into it. So particle system is basically an object which we will be adding into a scene panel. So there are various layers as well. Like by default, there is one layer that is layer 0. In the assets, we are going to add images, audio files, video, like animation sequence if there is any. So in assets basically means images or files that you are going to use to create your AR filter, right? So in the asset section that will go into it. Then here workspace is there. In the video section, you get a few demo videos provided by Meta or Facebook, which you can use to like get a scene, like you can visually see how your effect is working on different types of faces, right? So this is one of the uh, image video we will be using. Or you can just simply click on USB video device and your own camera, you can just create your filter on the basis of your own face. Just give me a moment. Cool. Okay, so we have the play and pause button as well. So like if you are trying to adjust a plane or some capability onto your face, and as you can see the demo video or the place where we are going to see how our effect is working, it's moving video, right? So if you want to accurately place a plane on a particular position, you need to pause that video. So for that purpose you have been provided play and pause button. So you can just pause it, place the element or place the object correctly, and then we can again play the demo video. You have the restart button. For example, if you have a capability that starts for particularly only first 5 seconds when a user creates or starts your Instagram filter. So for that purpose, you will need to try it out frequently. So that's where restart button comes to your help. So you can just click on restart and it will just show up for first 5 seconds or first few seconds, right? Then Spark AR provides you an AR library where you can get a few basic assets ready-made, or you can use different textures are provided, different blocks are there available. So you can use those. There are patch assets as well which you can use, like shaders, animation, audio files. So you can utilize them as well. Then there are color alerts. So what are color alerts? So most of us have used or are fan of color alerts. Like has some color alerts like Jaipur and many other things like Tokyo, Jakarta, and all those things. So all those are color alerts. Like basically we say color filter to it. So color filters are color alerts. You can see the difference here. This is the original image of Cored, and if you apply color alert to it, then it will look like this. Cool. So it's all about the AR library. Then next we have test on device feature. So test on device feature allows you to test your effect on your mobile phone. So there are two methods to do it. One is you can just send a link, preview link to your Facebook or Instagram account, and you can use it. Or the second way is you can install Spark Air Player onto your mobile devices, and you have to connect it to your laptop or PC, and you can just preview it into your Spark Air Player app. So that's one way. The third part is publish. So now we have created the air filter, but now we need to publish it so that each and every person in the world or on the social media can use it, right? So that's where we are going to publish our air effect. Cool. So here viewport is there. Then there are various filters, there are various views like bird's eye view is there, then left, right. So we are going to use bird's eye. You can at any time you can just span around this view. For spanning around the main section, you need to press Control or Command if you are on Mac, and if you are on Windows, then place Control and just left click your mouse, and you can just span around the things, right? If you want to zoom in and zoom out, press Control or Command and just if you are using the trackpad of your laptop or device, so you can just with two fingers you can swipe up, swipe down. And if you are using the remote, then if you are using the mouse, then you can use the wheel, right? On the right side you can see the properties or transformations that we are going to apply for our objects or for our assets. So we are going to change all the properties or all the other things that we need to create a personalized effect. So for that we need to change some properties, and that we are going to do on this right side. So there is also patch editor which we'll be using to edit some, to make some changes in our filter. And if you're creating a complex air effect, you need some complex patches and you need to make connections for it. So at that time patch editor comes to your rescue. Till this point, anyone has any doubts? We have just quickly gone through the Spark AI Studio overview. We have understood, we just saw what are the features provided by Spark AI Studio, just an overview of all those things. I have just added one link into the chat box, so if anyone can please post it in the comments. So it's an image that we are going to use. It's a fire emoji, or you can just download any image or emoji that you wish to use for this effect. You can just download it from any website, or if you want a website, there is a stickpng.com website. You can download a transparent emoji image. So once you have down, you can just, Tanuj, you can just post in the comments. I will take it from there. Once you download the emoji, just let me know so we can start. You can just simply go to the stick png website and download any emoji, your favorite. You can select your favorite emoji as well for creating an air filter. Yeah, the link is there in the chat comment section. You can just click on the link or copy the link and download the emoji that I am going to use. You can use any emoji of your choice. Once done, just let me know. Just acknowledge it in the comments, so I will get and I will understand that you are ready. Cool. I hope everyone have installed the emoji. So we will just quickly get started. So in the assets section, you have to import the emoji. So I will be importing it from my computer, and if you want, you can just create import any asset from the AR library. So import from computer. I will select the file that I want and click open. So this is the emoji. You can see it on the right side. This is the fire emoji that we are going to use. I will just rename it to fire. So basically this emoji is a texture that we are going to use. Texture is basically an image or the images that we are going to use while adding material to our objects, right? So just don't think about the materials and objects right now. We will go to it one by one. So I will just do compression to none for all the three types of devices, that is iOS, Android, and older Android. How to select image? You can just click on. Just let me show it once again. Uh, Delete. Good. So in the asset section, you can see import from computer. So you just have to click on from computer. Once you click, you will be able to see the image that you have downloaded, to the specific location where you have downloaded it. Just open the image, and the image will be there in the textures section. I will just rename it. It's a good practice to rename the textures, materials, objects, all the things. So when the project gets bigger, we have more objects. It's better for us to understand well, like which texture or which object we are trying to edit. Tanuj, did you get it right now? Is everyone there? Or is anyone left behind? You want some time to select the image and import it? Cool. So for this effect, we are not going to. You can but by default, Spark app provides us with two lights. That is, one is ambient light and one is directional light, right? So what this does is when we add some object and we add a material to it, so that material is like the lighting is shown on that material, like this directional light is there, right? So directional light is putting some light on our material on a particular area. Okay, so if we move this directional light or if we change the color of the directional light, the material will be seen of that color, right? So that's the use of directional light. So we don't actually need these lights. So I will just remove it. If you want, you can just keep it there. That's not an issue. Just a moment. So can we move ahead? Just let me know. I think everyone is with me. So I will just, yeah. So now we have the fire texture ready, and that's all that we have done right now. We will be adding some layers, scene, adding some objects on the scene right now. So add object, actual project that we are going to create today, right? So it's just for so that you can better understand how the scene panel works, right? So I have imported two planes, or I will just work with first plane. So I will rename this plane to background background plane. Okay. I made a spelling mistake. Yeah. So here I have added a background plane. I will add a material to it. Okay, so now this material is looking black because the reason behind it looking black is we have removed the lights, the ambient light and the directional light from the spark here. So we can just change the color of it. We will go to material, and on the material, the shader type, I will change it to flat. As soon as I change it to flat, it shows the real color irrespective of the lights on it, right? So I will just change its color to um, yeah, this green, I can say. Cool. So background plane, which for this background plane we have used added the material, and for that material, in that material we just changed the shader type from standard to flat and added a color, right? Now I will just copy and replace this. You can do it with the help of control D or command D, and I will rename this as foreground plane. So now these both planes are looking same because they are of same size and same uh, like same color is there, right? So what I will do is I will change the size of it. So I can either change the size of it using the scale, X, Y, and Z axis. I can just change the values right here in the properties panel, or I can just click on the third part, edit the scale. I will just zoom in a little bit and I will scale it like this. Okay, but still you can't see the actual changes in it because we have the same color and same material added. So I will change the material for the foreground plane. So create new material. I will just edit its name, material of background. Okay, and the material one should be renamed to matte underscore foreground. Cool. Now the matte underscore foreground is having a black color. I will just quickly change its color to something different, some different color. Let's say this blue color. Cool. So now its value is something different. So let's make it exactly uh, half of the bigger background plane, right? So I will just change its value to 0.5 on X, Y, and Z axis respectively. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Cool. So now our background plane is in front of the sorry, our foreground plane is in front of the background plane. So how the scene panel works is it goes from the bottom to up, right? So if I just click on the background plane and drag it below foreground plane, the background plane will be visible, right? And our foreground plane is behind our background plane because it goes from bottom to up. Okay, so this is how it will look like. The background plane will be in front, and then behind it the foreground plane will be there. So this is how we want it. And how layers work is it's opposite to scene panel. In layers, like right now we have just one uh, background layer. I will add this background layer. Background plane is already having background layer. For the foreground plane, I will just change and create a new layer. For this layer, I will write um, foreground layer. Cool. So now, yeah. So now here, what has happened is we have foreground plane in front and foreground layer up in the layer section. But what will happen if I just drag foreground layer below the background layer? So you can see that the layers hierarchy is overriding the scene panels hierarchy, right? Because though it's foreground, so we will expect that foreground should be in front, but actually in the layers the background layer is on the top, and in layers panel it runs from top to bottom, right? And that's the reason background layer is overriding the rules or the plane of the foreground layer. So this is how we expect it to be. And you can, it's not compulsory to work with layers. You can just simply use scene panel for using the hierarchy, managing the hierarchy and all those things. How did I make this square on the screen? So you can just click on add object. In the 3D objects you can just click on plane and insert. You will be able to see an plane there, right? You don't need to do this. I was just doing it for the explanation purpose, so you can better understand how the scene panel works, how are the layers, how the hierarchy of layers works. So that was the main purpose behind telling you all these things, right? So we are not going to use these things. I will just delete the materials as well. Cool. So this is our starting project. We will right now like quickly get started with the basic things that we are going to need for our project. So is everyone ready for it? So we are going to import a particle system. So click on add object, search for particle system and click on insert. Okay. So an emitter has been inserted onto your viewport. You can see it, right? So I will just change it to uh, background emitter. Cool. So background emitter has been added into your scene panel, and you can see it on the screen as well. So what basically emitter is, right? So you might have a question. There is something popping up from a single point, and it's like it has a small lifespan, and after a certain lifespan it's getting vanished. Okay, so we need to work on it. And there are different properties that you can see on the right side of the screen on the scene panel. Just let me know how many of you have successfully inserted the particle system onto your scene panel. Just let me know it in the comments. How to add a background? Which background are you speaking about, Gully? uh, yeah, I'm not sure which. Yeah, I will just repeat it once again. We'll remove it. Cool. So this is how our project is looking right now. You have to just click on add object. Once you click on add object, you have to either you can just scroll through the see all the objects that are available, or in the search bar you can type particle system and you can click on insert. Once you click on insert, the particle system will be added to a scene, and you can see it in the uh, on the right side as well. Just let me make it a little bit. Did you get it right now, Tanuj? You have to just click on add object, particle search for particle system, click on insert. Same the way we did it for plane. Yeah, great. Cool. So now I will just rename this emitter to uh, anything you can rename, but I will just take background emitter. Cool. So now it will be the background emitter. And now we will go through one by one through the properties that are available for the emitter, right? So in the transformations, we have position, scale, and rotation. So what position does is you can just change the position, okay, using either using these arrows, that is the X, Y, and Z arrows. Okay, you can change the position, place it anywhere along this axis. Okay, or you can just play around these values on the in the properties plane. Like if I want to move it uh, 2 on the x-axis, then I will just uh, play with the values. So I will just show you where it went. It's there, right? uh, just a minute, let me minimize this. You can see it right there, right? If I move it a bit behind, so it's there. If I place it 1, if I put it 0.5 on x-axis, so you can just play around with these values on the property in the properties plane, right? uh, so now just change it to 0. Yeah, okay. So you can change it, so you can rotate it as well using either this model or by changing the values in the properties plane, right? You can just add the degree that you want to rotate on the x, y, or z axis. So if you want to rotate it by 30° on x axis, 50° on y axis, and 10° on z axis, so you can rotate it as per your wish, right? I will just set it to default for now because we don't need the rotation right now. Cool. So if you want to scale the per particle that is been emitted by the so you can just change the scale of it, like the x-axis you want 200, you want 15, so it will be kind of a rectangle. Okay, so you can see it's going a bit above, right? So I will just change it to 000. Oh, sorry, it's 1, right? Because if we type 0, it will be just vanished. White background. So for white background, what you need to do is when you add the material to it, you just have to change the shader type from standard to flat. Once you change the shader type from standard to flat, you will be able to see the white background, and you can change it using color to any color that you want. I hope this helps. Yeah. So now back to our project. So now we just have added the emitter and saw the transformations, that is basic transformations, that is position, scaling, rotation. Okay. The second is enable for option. So enable for option is for uh, providing you the features that you wish to manipulate or change, which will be available for the users, right? So is your emitter going to work for the front camera and back camera both? So if it's only for the front camera or people who are just clicking selfies, then you can just click on front camera and untick the black camera. User and participants is for video calling. And capture. So what capture means is while you are using the Instagram filter, there is a lot of text. If you want to instruct the user, like you want to use that just to instruct the user and don't want to record it on the screen, like when a person is sharing it on your story or status, you don't want that text to be there. So if you unclick or untick this capture section, it will be shown only to the user who is using or getting instructed about the instructions of the how they can use the filter, right? So that's the main purpose behind including capture. So we are not going to use it for now. Then in the type emitter, there are 4 types. Okay. So what I will do is also, what is the distance between, like I will just quickly tell you what this is. So this is how our screen is being displayed. This is your mobile device camera, okay, and this is how it's being displayed on your phone. So this small rectangle is basically your mobile screen, and it's projected from your mobile camera, right? So this distance is measured in meters, and what we want is we want this emitter to come from below, right, from the bottom. So for that I will just change the position of my y-axis to minus 1.7 because I want it to come from the bottom. That's the reason I gave it a negative sign. Now it's completely disappeared, it's here below. I what I will do is it's too low for us. I will just change it to minus 1.2, and I think it's fine for us now. Yeah. So this is where our emitter is, right? So I just change the value of y-axis, change the position of y-axis to minus 1.2, just because we want it to appear from the bottom, right? So now what we want is we are going to see all the types of emitters. So this was the point emitter. How I can say for the explanation. Okay, I will just add one more emitter for the explanation purpose. Okay, so now you can see here. Okay, it is emitting particles just from a single point, right? So if we want it to emit particles from a line, then we can just change its type to line. You can change the length of the line, like it's 0.2. If I want, I can increase it to 0.5. So from the entire screen you can see it in the viewport. It's getting emitted right from through the complete x-axis. You can change the length of the line by changing its values. 0. I can just change it to 5, and you can see it's like displaying a lot of values, or it's emitting a lot of particles on the length of 5, right? The third one is plane. So it's emitting particles from a plane. So plane is basically a square kind of thing. If we see it from the top, you can see it's displaying it from a lot of points, right? You can change the size of the plane as well to 2. So you can see it's emitting particles from a bigger size, right? So you can see it's emitting particles from a n number of points on which has a size of 2,2, right? So this was the third type. The fourth is ring, right? So now this is the one type that we are going to use today for creating our air filter, right? So the emitter type is ring, and what ring does is it has a radius and it emits particle along the circumference of the ring, right? Uh, and the radius, currently the radius is 0.1, right? So what we will do is we will just add this to our patch. It's a consumer patch, and we will try to change the value of the radius. So now it's 2, and now you can see it's getting the emitter, the particles are getting emitted from a 2 radius on the x-axis and 0.1 on the y-axis. So what I want is I want a bigger radius. Let's say 5, or what we can do, 7, and on the y-axis I can change it to 3. Yeah. So now you can see there are a few number of particles getting emitted, Okay, but what we want is we want a lot of particles to be emitted. So we can control its birth rate, like the birth rate of the particles that are being emitted. Just let me know, were you all able to just, what I will do is just repeat it on the background emitter. We want it in the ring form. I will click on this. When I go to the radius, when I click on the arrow, it's showing me when I hover on the arrow, it's showing me yellow sign, and I click it, then I can get the patch of it. Were you all able to just drag or create a patch of it in the patch editor? Just let me know if you were able to do so. Yeah, Tanuj, I will just repeat it once again. So to create a patch, you don't have to do anything. Just click on background emitter. Okay. Once you uh, once you go on background emitter in the scene panel, on the right side in the properties panel, you will be able to see emitter type. Okay. Once you do it, change the emitter type to ring, you will be able to see the radius option here below, just below the type. On the radius option, there is on the side of the radius, there is a small arrow. Just click on that arrow. Once you click on that arrow, it will by default give you a patch. It's a consumer patch where you can just play around the values. Were you able to do it, Tanuj? don't just uh, don't just the background emitter name. It's the name that's coming because I have changed the name of my uh, particle system. That's the reason I'm able to see background emitter here. It's fine if you are seeing any name there. Just let me know if you are able to see this yellow patch here. That's important for us. Okay, I will just take a look at it right now. I will just show you once again. On the left hand side, click on background emitter or any particle system that you have added. You might have added a particle system, right? When you clicked on add object and clicking on particle system, so it might have the name emitter 0. So just click on the emitter 0 on the left hand side. On the right hand side in the properties, you have to change the emitter type to ring, and once you change the emitter type to ring, you will be able to see an radius option below it, right? And right on the left side of the radius option, you have to click on the small arrow. Once you click on the small arrow, you will be able to see the patch. I hope you get it right now. Were you able to do it, Tanuj? Just please let me know. What to do after making ring? After making the ring, you have to just below the ring there is a radius option. You just have to click on the small arrow aside the radius option, and you will be able to see the this patch. Just let me know if you are able to see the patch or not. I will tell you what we have to do with the ring later. Great. So now we have the background emitter added. I'll just check. Yeah. So now in the background emitter, we have to change the radius of a ring. Now, as you can see, the ring is having a small radius. Okay, so we need to increase the radius, and we will be keeping it to 7 on the x-axis, and the radius of y-axis we will be keeping a height of 5 on the y-axis. So now you can see a few points are blinking here, right? When I completely zoom out, right? So there are a few points blinking in around the radius or around the circumference having radius 7. Cool. So now we have the radius ready. So now, as you can see, there are only a few points blinking. So we need a lot of particles, okay, so that we can easily visualize it and it appears more frequently on our filter, right? So we will be changing the birth rate. Right now, the birth rate is 20. If we change it to 500, so you can see a lot of particles are getting displayed, right? You can see it, okay. So a lot of particles are getting emitted from the ring, but the reason we are not going to use 500 is if just while making the air filter, keep in mind that you are going to create a filter for all the users, keeping in mind that we need to create a filter which will be useful for all the mobile devices. What happens if you keep the birth rate 500? There are chances that on some mobile devices the filter will get crash, and we don't want that. We want to create a user friendly filter, and that's the reason we will be keeping birth rate of say 35. That's fine for us. uh, okay, it's good enough. Okay, so now we have a birth rate of 70 35. mm, yeah. Now you can see that the birth rate is 35, but it's just getting I will show you with a higher birth rate so you can easily see the changes. Okay, so now you can see it's just coming straight up, right? What we want to do is we want to add a spray angle, right? So most of the time what happens, uh, as we have been provided three axes, that is x, y and z axis. So what we can do is we can add a spray angle which adds which allows a few particles to diverge inside into it, right? With a deviation of some 10 or 20. So what we will do is in the spray angle, what we want to do is in the z axis, I want 30, okay, and deviation, like what deviation is like it allows a few part of it to deviate into like if it is 30 and what we do is 20% of 30 is 6, so 24 and 36, right? So plus minus 6 particles will be coming in or out or having a deviation of 30 degree, right? If I restart the effect, you can see it will be a very minor change. Okay, so from the bottom, if you can see, it's not going straight up, it's coming a little inside, a little inward, right? Cool. So now what we will do is, now we have changed the spray angle, we have added the birth rate. Okay, now the speed. So what is the speed? Speed basically defines how fast your particles are coming up, right? We will just get back to speed soon. Before that, we will see what warm up is. Okay, so now the emitters are coming up, but what's happening is when I restart the filter, as we have positioned our particle system minus 1.7 or minus 1.2 on the y-axis, right? So it's below our main screen, and it will take a few time to reach to the screen. And a person who is using your filter doesn't know this, and he won't be patient enough to wait for a few seconds till your particles come up. So what we can do is we can add a warm up to our effect of say 30 seconds. Okay, and if we add a warm up, so when we refresh our filter, the particles will already be present on our filter, right? See, you can, if you can see, there are a few particles on his face. So it's as soon as you restart, there are a few particles present. So that's the use of warm up that we are going to use. So scaling, now we will be scaling a particle if you want. Now it's 0.01, so you can see a very minute particles, right? We can change the scale of it to 0.1. So now you can see a bit bigger. Let me zoom in a bit. You can see a checkerboard on the particle, right? Because we haven't added any material or any texture to it. That's the reason it's looking like that. We will be editing it, or we will be adding material and adding some texture to it to make it beautiful, right? So now we have scaled it. And lifespan, so what is lifespan? Lifespan is the right now you can see in this here, once the uh, particle is coming, it's dying too quickly. We need to increase its lifespan so that it waits or it lives on the screen for a longer time. So if I say 10 seconds maybe, just let me change the speed. I will just quickly refresh it. Okay, so now you can see the lifespan is too long, is good. Now you can see it from the, like, it's like something is going into space. Okay, so this is because we have increased its lifespan, right? If we change its lifespan to 5 seconds, a particular particle will live for 5 seconds and it will get diminished or it will get vanished, right? So you can see one particle will stay for 5 seconds and then it will just disappear. If we keep it 2 seconds, it will, it's too small for us, right? So let's keep lifespan of say around 10 seconds, right? It's enough for us. Cool. Venkatesh, what you want me to repeat? Just let me know. I think you want me to repeat for the lifespan thing. Uh, I will just repeat it from the warm up. So we are adding warm up so that when a person starts your filter, there it will require a few seconds, or like maybe we can say 5 seconds for the particles. If its speed is low, it will take around 2 to 3 seconds for the particles to come to your screen, right? So what we can do is we can add a warm up of 30 seconds. So when a user starts your filter, it will directly, the particles will already be present there. So user does not need to wait for 2 to 3 seconds before they and wait for particles to appear on their screen, right? From material, how to add that much materials? Yeah, I think we haven't yet added any material. I think you are speaking about the lifespan and the birth rate. So for generating more particles, you just need to change and play around the birth rate value. I will keep it 35. Is fine for us. Okay. So for generating the particles, you just need to play around with the birth rate value. Then spray angle is for getting the what we can say, the particles inside into our circumference with say we can say 30 degrees, and the 20 is the deviation between it. Okay, so now you can see this is how it looks. Okay, is it clear, Venkatesh? Then we had added the warm up. Then for the scale, uh, it comes with 0.01, with it is the scale of a particular particle, and we want it a little bit bigger. You can change the scale at any point of time, even after you have added the texture or added the material to your particle system. Even then, if you think that the image is looking a bit too small, then you can just scale it around. Okay, then it's the lifespan is we have kept 10 seconds, you can keep 30 seconds as well. Cool. Now spin and tilt. Okay, so what we want is like in this filter we are going to use the fire emoji, right? So what we want is, if we add the fire emoji right now, what it will do is it will just go straight up, right? What we want is we want it to go like in a wavy manner. We want it to tilt a little bit, rotate it a little bit, right? So that's the reason we are going to spin it and tilt it a little bit, not much. So what we can do is spin it by 30 degree and add 40 degree the deviation, 30, and we can say 10 for it for tilting. We don't want to tilt it much. So now you can see the difference. The planes are rotating as well while going upwards, right? It's not like just going straight up. It's tilting or leaning a little bit while going up. Can you explain spray angle on x and y axis, as I see no change when I changed y value? uh, this spray angle won't change on x and y axis because as the x and y axis we have selected ring, right? So it's going straight up. Okay, so x and y axis won't make any difference, but if you change it on z axis, it will come, because it's a ring, so around the circumference it will just come inside and out. It will go a little inside and outside. So that's the reason might be you won't be able to see some change in the y value. If you do it on point or a line maybe, then you can see some change. You can change the shape of the plane as well here, but we won't be needing it. There are different planes, like cylinder is there, star is there. Okay, we'll be just going with the plane. Okay, till this point everyone is with me, just let me know. We are at the end, like we just have to add material and add texture to it, and we are done with the filter. Yeah, no worries. Just let me know if you all are with me. We just have two more steps and we are done. I hope with me. So now we have it ready. And what we want to do right now is we need to add some image to these planes that are getting emitted or to these particles, right? So I will add a material. Just click on plus sign in front of materials, right? So we have the material added. I will just rename this material 02 mat underscore fire, because it's the material where we are going to add the fire, right? The texture, fire texture. So now the material is added, but the shader type is standard. We will change it to flat. Now the cubes or the planes will be in white color. And previous in the while the I was showing the demo, I saw you. I just demoed how you can change any color. So you can, if you want to just keep a particular color, uh, if you choose a few like a golden color, it will look like confetti, right? But now we don't want to add any color. We will be selecting the file. Was everyone able to do this, like adding the material? Just let me know. You don't need to create any folder named materials. When you were on background emitter, if you just click on the materials, in front of materials you will be able to see the plus sign. If you click on the create material, it will Sparky by default create some materials folder for it. So you don't personally need to create any such folder. I hope you understood it. Now, what we are going to do is we are just going to add the fire texture to our material. So click on the mat underscore fire or material 0 if you haven't renamed yet. Just click on it. On the right side in the properties panel, you will be able to see a texture written in the shader properties. In the texture, you just have to click on it one and you see the fire texture, right? Just click on it. And yeah, you can see our filter is ready. You can see the fire emoji is tilting a little bit as well. It's going upward. Hope you all got it. Like you understood how you can create a AI effect using emitters or particle system you can say. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any doubt, just let me know in the comments. I will be happy to answer.
I think, Ronang, we don't have any doubt as of now. Thank you, Ronang, for the lovely session. Thank you, audience, for coming.
Thanks.
And let's meet soon, guys. This video is recorded, so you can watch and make your effect after watching this video. Thank you.
Thank you.